Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a new game called Tag Team. This is a great little gem. I don't know if it's actually a gem anymore because it's pretty popular now. That is a quick, fast-paced 2v2 kind of a situation. Well, it's 1v1 in players, but each player has two fighters, and both fighters are kind of going against each other here. So it's not going to quite always be this cramped. I'm trying to get it all within frame, and it's not happening. It doesn't look like so. That's okay. I'll explain everything really quick and then go over some of my favorite characters here. These are probably them. So the game is two fighters per player. Each fighter has their own health bar. So Mephisto, you can't see his name. It's clipped out. Mephisto here, the black and white guy, he has 13 health. Maman, Brijit over here, she has 16. The elf Feyfolk over here, they have 3 different health bars. You can kind of see some of the outlines here. So once it reaches the bottom of one track, they start on a different one and keep going down that way. And then Wang Fei Hung here, he has, I think, 17 health. Yes, 17 health. All characters have different health. All characters have different abilities, different decks that you play, and different tokens that can be applied. But all characters also get these purple cubes. That's indicated by the top corner here at the start of the game. And this is indicated by how much damage you'll do when you do attack. So you take turns back and forth. It's more like a round. You have rounds, and then everyone flips their cards at the same time. It all happens simultaneously, and then you hit each other back and forth. So there are 2 characters per team, 2 decks, 1 deck per character. The decks get shuffled together. Then you have a draw pile of your decks. Every character has starting cards, indicated by the black border and the star on the top corner. You shuffle these, and then you flip them at the same time as your opponent flips theirs, and they resolve simultaneously. Everything is instant action and happens immediately. Now that I've horribly described this, I want to get directly into the characters because that's why you play this game. Every character is unique and different, and they all have a different feel. So I want to talk about my 2 favorite characters. So we'll push these guys out of the way here, and then put these 2 in frame, because it is all, the name implies what it is, tag team, and it's all about how they can synergize together. So we've got Mephisto and then Maman Brijit here. Maman, I call her Maman. I have no idea how you say it. Like I said, their total health pool is their health together. Maman's kind of tricky because she has 2 KO spots. So when your health track hits a KO spot for the turn, when the round is over, that means that your character is KO'd and the game is over. So it's either character, and the characters that take damage are the characters whose cards you flip when you're playing the game, because they become the active character, dealing and taking damage for whatever your opponent flips at that point. So Maman's got 16, but she has 2 double KOs here, so it means it's kind of easier to KO her, but at the same time, it's kind of not. So if she ever goes below both of those KO spots, just down here, she'll gain one purple power cube, and then it goes straight back up to 4. So you have to land directly on these, and which is kind of tricky with her. Now, Mephisto, he only has 1, but his whole shtick is he has this coin that flips onto 2 different sides, and most of his cards have 2 different effects depending on what side the coin is on. So you're trying to time things up there with the coin. So the nitty-gritty kind of comes into each character's deck. Because we've already talked about their health totals and other things like this, he does have a coin flip indicator there, or icon. So whenever the health tracker goes past or lands on or goes past, you will flip his coin to the other side. So that happens, and that happens if you heal back up too, because some characters have healing as well, so then you would flip it back. All right, I think that explains all the setup stuff. Now we'll get into the gameplay, basically, which is the decks of each character. So every deck has 10 cards, and every deck has 1 start card for the beginning of the game, and there are certain kinds of cards. So this one here is a cancel card. So whatever your opponent plays from their deck when they flip the card at the same time, it just nullifies it, whether it's an attack, a defense, or something else that allows them to do a thing. These are very strong cards. Basically, it's an ordered sequencing, because when you play in rounds, after you play your first couple of turns, when you flip your cards, you have to draw through your deck, and then you choose a card that you like, and then you put it in the deck either on the top, the bottom, or somewhere in the middle in between. So you can time certain things up when you're doing this auto battle mechanic. So like I said, now that that's all explained, let's get into the deck of each of these characters. So let's do Maman Brijit's first. So she has 2 of these cancel cards. The cancel cards are valuable and they're very strong. She has 2 healing cards that are self-heals, and one of these actually it doubles as another cancel card. which is very strong, very powerful here. So if one of your opponents or both heals for any amount, it is canceled. It's a cancel healing. And then Mama Brijit heals herself for that total amount and gains 2 power. So she heals for the amount that you would have healed against your opponent when they were trying to heal, and then she also gains power. So what she also has is this healing here. So she does 1 damage to her teammate. That's what that blue icon is indicating there. So Mephisto would take 1 damage, and then Maman Brijit would heal for 4. And it kind of explains these things. It has little icons, but also explains the cards. She has 2 of these gain power cards, if I can find them. There we go. She has 2 of these gain power cards, where you deal 1 damage to your partner, and then Maman Brijit gains a power. She's kind of an all-around character where she just has a little bit of everything. She has 2 of these block cards, so if your opponent would attack you, and you block, so you flip your block over at the same time, the block becomes successful, and then also the block gets redirected. So block the opponent's attacks. If it's successful, all attacks against you and your partner get target your opponent's partner instead. So you're not hitting the active player at that point. You'd be hitting the non-active player that doesn't have their card flipped over. That can be good for certain situations if you're trying to focus all the attacks on just one player that's weaker. And then she has 2 attack cards where she does damage to herself, so she would go down and then also attack. And like I said, attacking, the power of the attack is indicated by the purple cubes that you have up top, and you'll gain those through the power, like the power gain cards, like this one. All right, so that's Maman Brijit's deck. So it's pretty good. She's kind of tricky. She deals a lot of damage to herself and to her ally or her partner. But Mephisto kind of combos well with Maman Brijit because of his deck. So she also has some healing for herself too. So she's pretty all around, and she's pretty tricky because you have to land directly on that. So she's neat. Now Mephisto, I've already explained that the coin flips over, and you have different abilities on your cards per what side the coin's on. So this is Twin Serpents. This tells you how many you have in the deck. He's got 3 copies of this card in his deck. On the black side, he will attack. On the white side, he gains a power. And then after you do whichever side you're on, you flip the coin to the opposite side. So he's got 3 copies of that, if I can find him here. 3 copies of that card. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 attacks already. Then he has 2 more attacks with this card, the Serpent of the Pit. So on the black side, you would attack. On the white side, you actually deal damage to yourself. All right, and then you don't flip the coin after this resolves. So that means don't flip the coin. The only reason why I can think of why this is on here is because if you pass over this coin flip track on his health track or whatever, that means that you're not going to flip it if you end up doing that with that card. It's the same thing here. This is kind of his healer, Serpent of the Void. You heal for 3 if it's on white, you heal for 1 if it's on black, and then you don't flip the card, don't flip the token when you pass along that flip symbol on your health track. So you just keep it the same. He has 1 block card here. When the block is successful, you actually block for the amount of power or the damage that would have been dealt to you by the attacking opponent. So it's kind of the same thing as Mama Brijit's, where she blocks the damage, and then she steals the healing of another character, but he blocks damage and then heals for the amount of damage that he was going to take. And then he has 1 of these cards. So if this is flipped over at the same time as one of your opponents plays one of their starting cards, so like this, it gets flipped like this because that's a starting card because of the star, black star, and then the border there. You deal 4 direct damage. Direct damage cannot be blocked. There's not very many. I don't even know if there's very many whatever you call blocking starting cards for anyone's deck yet, but it's nice because direct damage just can't be blocked or anything. So it's uncounterable. And then the last thing, he has Drag You to Hell. If your team were to lose this turn for any reason, you instantly win the fight anyway. So as you can see, this is kind of it doesn't look like it would synergize well, but it does if you got some rips behind these characters. So Maman Brijit does a lot of damage to herself or her opponents, or not her opponent, her teammate. Mephisto also deals damage to himself. So if you get low with Mephisto, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you can get into this card and time it right. It's actually sneaky ways to get out wins. In fact, you can even get wins quickly if you kind of just deal a bunch of damage to yourself, and then they're attacking Mephisto, and then you pull this card out. If you have that card, you know that card's coming up, or you have it in your deck. It's actually not too disadvantageous to try to sneak a win out that way. But also, if you don't want to play like along those lines, like let's say the decks just don't shuffle out in a way that will allow you to play that way, to where you try to kill yourself in order to win the game, you can kind of lean on Maman Brijit in order to tank a lot of the damage, because they have to land directly on those KO spots. So they sort of synergize well, even though they don't. It's not immediately obvious that they do, and they're harder characters. They are higher complexity, right? But I wanted to talk about my favorite characters as a tag team, which is these two here, which are a little bit harder. I haven't seen a whole lot of content on YouTube about them, but let me know what you guys think. Do you like Mephisto? Do you like Maman Brijit? Do you like them as a team? Who else do you think goes well with them? Or do you think I'm just totally wrong? Leave those down in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. All that stuff, you know. Keep grinding and peace out.